Almost everyone that I help were doing this one thing wrong. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be totally honest. Are you just a quote machine? So, what do I mean by that? When your leads come in, do you go out to your client? Do you measure up, talk product, measure up, and leave them with a quote? Leave them to think about a quote in the hope and the prayer that they're going to come back to you after they've had their 4 or 5 other quotes and you've won the job purely maybe on price. You think, do you know what? I think they liked me. But you're still praying that they're going to come back to you. Okay. So are you a quote machine or are you a professional salesperson? Do you want to remain a quote machine where most of your leads are going to turn into no revenue whatsoever? Or do you want to become a professional elite sales closer where you know if you're going into your prospect and you're having the right structured conversations, you're going to walk away with the majority of the orders that you have conversations about? So that's the difference. Quote machine versus closing your prospects. Okay, putting yourself in the pole position. Okay. Almost every single person that I now help were in the same situation before I started to help them. So they were just quote machines. They were going out, running around the world. They've got a million leads, bang, bang, bang. Leads are expensive. That's your pot of gold. One little gold coin out here and there. When you can be literally sifting your hand in and grabbing handfuls of gold because you're not structuring your business in the right way. You're not having the right conversations with your prospects and you're not asking for the order. Okay, you're leaving quotes. So this is where I take my members, my clients, the people that I help, I take them from doing exactly that to being able to close their business. Okay. Who am I? I'm Paul Broom. I've sold tens of millions of pounds in the home improvement space. I've been doing direct sales. I've been in the trenches exactly like you guys are for 43 years. Face-to-face sales in the trenches, in the homes, drinking their tea. Okay. And I can tell you this without hesitation. When I go in and I speak to my prospects, I expect to walk away with the order. I expect to walk away with the order. Okay. I expect to close them on the day. I expect to get to a point where I'm asking my prospect the closing question. But how do I get there? It's not, you need permission from the conversation to ask the closing question. Now, what does that mean? That sounds crazy. You don't need permission from your client to ask the closing question. The closing question should be something really simple and it should be very natural. You should just walk your client into the closing question and they should be and you should already be predisposed to the fact that they're ready to say yes to you. Okay. So the closing question's not one of those which raises the hair on the back of the neck. It's just a simple, soft closing question with the power of silence balance behind it. Ask the question, shut up. And it doesn't matter how long you shut up for. You just shut up. You ask the question, you shut up. Okay. But you need permission from the conversation, not the client. So in other words, you need to ask yourself, have I put my prospect in a position to buy before you ask the closing question? So have I done everything necessary to give myself permission to ask the closing question? And if the answer is no, then you need to do some more work. If the answer is yes, you're perfectly entitled and you should ask the closing question. Okay. So what we're talking about today is quote machine versus somebody that's going in with the intention of closing their business. So I hear it every day, I need more leads. Okay. How many leads per month do you get? How many leads per week? I'm getting roughly 2 leads per day, but they're rubbish. Really? Okay. Interesting. Why do people that are not asking for the order always tell me that the leads are rubbish? Those people have seen your post on Facebook or Instagram for whatever you do, roof repairs, driveways, landscaping, conservatory roofs, all the trades that I help on a daily basis. Yeah, double glazing, conservatories, so on. Why do they always their reverted position is the leads are rubbish? Most leads don't come with waving the white flag saying, I want to spend some money with you, do they? It's up to you to go into your prospect, have the conversation, put them into a situation where you're entitled, where that conversation has given you the entitlement to ask for the order. So you're probably interested in understanding a bit more about what I'm actually saying, at least, in order to understand. So let me take you back to why the most important part of your sales conversation. And without doubt, the most important part of your sales conversation is your prospect's why. Okay? People buy with emotion. They buy from the heart and they justify it with logic. So in other words, wow, that looks amazing. That will feel great. Oh my God, he's taken me to a place that is exactly where I want to go. Next point, so that's the heart. Next point is logic. Should I be doing it now? Is it the right price? Are they the right company? Blah, 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 blah. All the other qualification questions. So if you can, but the point is, unless you've done this bit, you're not going to get this bit. So we call this the why, and it's the fundamental, it's the pillar and the foundation of every single sales conversation. It's not, oh, hello, Mrs. Smith. Just come round to measure. You contacted me about measuring your windows. Grab your tape measure, pull them out, measure your windows. Oh, this is our frame. This is our glass. This is what we do. It's blah, blah, blah. 25-year guarantee. Where's the emotion? Where's the connection to your prospect? And I see it all the time. The first place I start with every single person that I help is talk to me about your sales process. Let's have a look at what you do, how you do it, and let's reverse engineer that, break it to pieces if we have to, and start again so that we get a structured conversation in place. As soon as that structured conversation, they start to use that structured conversation, it's almost like they've pressed the magic button. They've been given the golden key to unlock their sales process and be able to go out with confidence, knowing that they can speak to their prospects and they can close their business with ease, without chasing leads, without going round in circles, without being ghosted, without I'll think about it, without I need to speak to my wife, all the stuff that you and I both know happens if you haven't structured your sales conversation correctly. The logical conclusion to a professional sales conversation, you notice I didn't use the word presentation or pitch or anything like that. The logical conclusion to a professional sales conversation is the deal. Now, If you're not getting the deal, you shouldn't be quoting. Now, that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But don't quote if you know you're not going to get it. What's the point? Okay. So you only go through the sales process with your prospects that qualify. And there's the qualification questions that you ask right at the beginning in order to make sure that you're not going to waste 2-3 hours of your time with your prospect to get a no at the end, to get a I can't afford it at the end, to get a I want to think about it at the end, to get a I need to speak to my husband at the end, to get a oh, forgot to mention that there's someone else that needs to make this decision with me because they're funding it with me. So I'm not funding it on my own. And by the way, I don't have the money at the moment because I need to remortgage the house. I need to go to the bank and ask for a loan. I need to pay off some of my credit cards so I've got big enough gap in my credit card to fund this project. And all the other excuses, I call them excuses, but the reasons that they cannot go ahead with you. And if they can't go ahead with you based on finance or based on any of the other 5 reasons people don't buy, then you shouldn't be quoting that prospect in the first place because you can't quote them twice. You're only ever presenting your conversation to prospects that are in a position to buy today. That's it. But you need to understand, are they in that? Once you understand, is this a buyer? I grade my leads from 1 to 5. Number 1, they're ready to do it. I've asked the right questions and they're actually ready to do it. And, it's a problem that's really at the forefront of their mind. It's stressing them. It's bothering them. We've asked the correct questions. We've dug into their why. We've got their emotional attachment and they're ready to do it. They're a 1. Number 2s. Yeah, do you know what? It is bothering me a lot, but I want to wait till spring. Okay, they're good prospects. They're still a good prospect, but they're just not ready to do it. So once you've asked the reasons why they're putting it off to spring, and if it's finances or whatever, or there's a particular reason. I had one the other day that I closed that I spoke to 3 months ago. So I closed it literally last week, and it's I own a conservatory roof company as well. And it was one where they had a student living in the conservatory. They were desperate to get the job done, but couldn't move the student out till a certain time, so it wouldn't be empty, so I couldn't do the job. So I didn't quote them. I didn't even have the conversation with them about the solution or the transformation that I was offering until I knew they were ready to have that conversation with me. In other words, if they're not ready to be able to say yes, then I'm not going to have that conversation with them today. Okay. So we grade them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Number 1s and 2s, low hanging fruit. Now, number 3s, maybe a month or two's time, 6 weeks' time. They're doing a bit of research, blah, blah, blah. 4s and 5s, they're next year's. I just want to quote. My next door neighbours had it done, and I was just thinking I'd get a quote. So first of all, as your leads come through, you grade them, and you start to understand, are these 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s? It's a 1, it's a 2, it's a 3. Okay, great. 3, little bit of work. Yes, let's turn those into a 2 or a 1. 4s and 5s, yeah, okay, potentially we could turn those into a 3 or perhaps a 2. But we need to do some work in order to get them there. And if we do the work and we still find they're a 3 or a 4, then they stay as a 3 or a 4. That way, you're not running around the world. You're not talking to prospects that aren't ready for your conversation. And believe it or not, if you have that conversation too early, you've blown it and you can't go back again. Because once they have your price from you, you can't go back again, except potentially with a drop close, which is never a great position to be going back to your client and saying, actually, do you know what, we've got an offer this month, or we'll beat any other quote by 20%, and just trying to get back through the door on a budget type deal. They're never great. I mean, it happens. People in the industry use it. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite way of closing business. I'm not saying I've never done it. If things get tight in diary, which they have done from time to time, then maybe we'll use that type of approach to go back to them. And there are tons of others. So today it's really just, this is a warts and all video. You're going to notice here that I haven't done any editing. There are no captions. There are no there's virtually nothing done with this. It's just me talking to you through my camera lens and being perfectly natural. Warts and all, if I've made a mistake here and there, they're staying in. I'm not going to edit any of that stuff out. It's just staying there. And that's the way that I prefer to talk to you. I think too many videos these days are very, very polished and they're a bit transparent. You can't really see you. I want you to feel my emotion. And if you feel my emotion, then perhaps you'll understand why I'm considered the top home improvement sales coach in the UK. Okay. If you like the video, obviously subscribe, like, share, do all that stuff. But yeah, that's it pretty much for today. I'm not here to try and close you on anything. If you want to ask me a question, obviously put something in the comments. I'll be happy to come back to you. We'll have a little chat. But I'm not here to ask you for business. I'm just here. Literally, these videos that I'm putting out are here to help you to grow and scale your own businesses. So if you can use some of my free content to do it, then you're more than welcome. But if you do want to reach out for anything more specific, then I'm ready for you. I'm always here. I'll always try and help you. But yeah, have a great day. Please use some of this to try and improve your business, to scale your business. If what I've said today makes sense to you, and I know it works because we use it all the time, it's a proven, tried and tested system. And if you're looking for help in that direction, then reach out. Put something in the comments or reach out to me. There's tons of ways of doing it. Yeah, do that and we'll speak again soon. But have a great day and start closing.